So today we're going to be taking a look at a scenario where civilization starts over. In the last episode, I don't actually remember what happened. Oh yeah, we had the Europeans invade Arabia. We had this like economical alliance form over here in China with the CEU. And most importantly, we saw a lot of updates to the alliance layer with the red team joining the Circle Alliance. But not just that, we also had the French and Dutch joining them as well, which now creates a lot bigger of a threat to the Triangle Alliance, who has very clearly been reduced since the last episode. However, maybe in this episode they'll look to get some new allies across the world, even if there are any left. I don't even know if anyone will want to be their ally at this point. They could get a few countries that might want to be on their side. But anyway, let's just get straight into it. So first event we're going to have happening in this episode is going to be the filling in of the rest of the world. Now the rest of the world has pretty much been filled in already, except for one part of it, and that is Antarctica, and that's what we're going to see getting filled in this episode. So the French have already made a landing in this area a few episodes ago, but they didn't really do anything with it. But then we see the British actually making a landing down over here, and they see this land and they're like, hey, well this could actually be like decently viable. And then they call for the rest of the Triangle Alliance to come down, so they can come down and extract resources from this area. After that, there's going to be a large movement to start discovering the rest of Antarctica, as they will. A lot of the Germans come down here, Japanese, we have Portuguese as well, and eventually the rest of Antarctica is filled in, and we're going to look at how they decide to divide this thing. The first claim is going to be the French claim. So the French are going to actually claim all of this land here, a pretty big claim of Antarctica, but hey, this land isn't the most valuable ever, and yes, there are lots of resources, which is the main reason, but this could definitely be more valuable than it is now in the future, but we'll just have to wait to see what happens then. So the French will basically claim this huge region. They already have a colony in Argentina. It makes sense, so they can just get to this easily through the Drake Passage. And they're going to build a few settlements, which aren't going to be major cities because they're not really big enough to be, but they will build a few. We then have the Germans getting their claim, and the Germans aren't going to claim as much land. That's because they don't really have too much interest in this region, but they are going to claim a decent chunk of it, so that's just so they don't really miss out on anything. They don't really want to be missed out on this. Maybe this later could be pretty valuable for them. They're just going to take it for now. And as you can see, just like real life, these countries are going straight down. So I know this is like a weird projection map where it like kind of flattens out Antarctica, but on a real map it would kind of look like what it looks like in the real world. I'll flash it on the screen if I can find it right now. But yeah, the British are then going to claim this rather large amount of land over here. It is just like the French did below South Africa, so they're going to be able to get to this a lot easier than they would if they claimed like something over in this region where they're not as near. Now it's going to be Japan's claim, and wow. Japan is going to claim this region of Antarctica right over here. And to go along with that, they're also going to go ahead and claim this region. So they definitely have the largest colony. Like I said earlier, projections are a bit weird. So these regions do both connect, but so this region over here would connect to this part of it. So that's what it looks like on the real map. And the rest of this then is going to be going over to the Portuguese. They will claim the rest of Antarctica, including this massive island over here. And this is what our divided Antarctica looks like. Pretty ugly, but at the same time, it's bearable. Unlike in real life, where it's still not fully claimed yet, there's no Antarctic Treaty yet. And also, like I said, the technology is a lot more recent. We're in about the probably 1840s, maybe 1850s at this point. And the technology is probably around the maybe the late 1800s. So the technology is a lot better, and they're able to kind of come down and claim this area, and this is the kind of time where Antarctica was claimed in real life, at least most of it. And yeah, like I said, also there's no Antarctic Treaty here, so they're able to take as much as they want of it. And yeah, we're just going to leave this region alone now. Anyway, over here in the British Isles, we're going to see a bit of a civil war take place, and that is the Irish breaking away. Over here we have Ireland declare their independence away from Britain. They're going to take a lot of lands which they used to inhabit around this area over here. Ireland used to be kind of like split up like this kind of a while ago. Now they did take over all of Ireland, but then they were annexed by the British Union. And that is kind of making the people over here really rowdy, so they're actually going to take all of the major cities on this island and connect up all of their claims getting over to here. And the Triangle Alliance will support these guys, but they are being funded by the Circle Alliance, and the Triangle Alliance is going to be like, you can't just do that. And they'll send a warning to the Circle Alliance saying, if you fund any more rebellions, we'll let you off on this one because you don't really want a war right now. But if you fund any more rebellions across any of our allies in the future, then we are going to invade you and you are going to pay for your actions. So we do see Ireland pretty much take the rest of the Irish island. It's weird to say, but the British Union isn't going to be able to do anything about it. They attempt a naval invasion over in this region, but it goes horribly, and they ended up losing. So the British Union are actually just going to split Ireland out as its own country, and they become independent once again. The capital will be where it used to be, down in this region. And to kind of, give a bit of land to the British Union, because they kind of, sad that they lost of Ireland at the minute. The Germans are going to have a major discount on the Scottish colony. And the British Union are going to be purchasing it. And it does kind of look weird to give the British Union it, because the Germans have had the Scottish colony for so long now. But at this point, they're fine, they don't need it, and they're just going to give it up to the British Union. They both have the same religion, so that's fine. And I'm actually going to get rid of the Dark Red Union religion, because I think oh god, that's not real. I don't want to call it the Dark Red Union religion, because obviously that country doesn't exist anymore, that's from a long time ago. But I'm going to give it to the Germans, because this is more of an ethnicity. I did it with the Sicilian religion a few episodes back, but it was more of an ethnicity, and it's not really the Dark Red Union religion, and it's also all over here in North America. I really did mess up with that. Like, it's always been this. It was more of a branch of the German religion. Now that branch has pretty much been killed off fully, and it still exists minorly, but it's mainly just the German religion now. And I also got rid of the branches of religions, because I thought they looked a bit weird, so there are no branches left in the world now, except for this over here. I'm just going to get rid of that really quickly. Also, there's a bit too many religions at the minute, like this Turkish religion most likely go to the red team, but I'm going to keep it because it is very historic. But this Bangladesh religion over here doesn't really need to exist. It was an ethnicity. And I know I had some kind of weird religious thing go over with Bangladesh, but I'm just going to say they're ethnicities. I really don't like the religious map. I think we can make it a lot better. And if you wonder why this pink religion is still here, that's because they were very, they're like, kind of like what happened with Ethiopia in real life. Although the countries down here didn't survive. There weren't even any countries down here. But people were able to kind of fight off the Germans and the Portuguese to not, like, kill their entire religion. And they also received funding from the Octagon Alliance and the Circle Alliance, so they were able to win. So yeah, that's what I want to address on the religion layer. And don't be sad that the dark red religion's gone, because that was a German thing anyway. It was never anything to do with these guys. And also, why did I make this colour? Like, the Portuguese don't even have this land. This is for the British Union. I messed up here. So what happened was I was originally going to give this to the British Union, or to the Portuguese, in my original version of the series, but then I decided I think it's better if it goes over to the British Union, because they don't have as much land in the world. But yeah, pretty much all of Australia is part of the German religion. That's cool, except for this Japanese portion, obviously. So that's our update to the religion map, I guess. Not really massacres going on, just mistakes that I have made over the history of the series. And yeah, I know I'm yapping a lot, but it makes sense that back in the day there was loads of religions going around in Europe. But now, it would have pretty much, just like in real life, been united under something like Christianity, which we kind of can see what's happening here. Like, there is kind of a Catholicism down in this region, then you have like a Protestant thing up here, and then over we have the Orthodox-ish thing. Now, obviously, it's not like that. They're not really branches of religions. They are their own religions. But you can kind of see similar things. Like, the gold religion is a kind of mix between the German religion and the Caspian religion. And that's how they kind of came into reality. Not into reality, but that's how the religion was kind of born. So that's just a bit of lore I wanted to give you guys. Now let's get back to the actual stuff going on. And the stuff going on is more of China going into this economic alliance. This alliance is quite popular. It was born in the last episode. We now have... to join it, we have this like kind of beigeish Chinese country, and then we have Shandong over here joining it. We even see, strangely enough, the Myanmar country join it, despite the fact that they are a fascist nation. However, they don't really mind about ideologies. It's not really their thing. They'll just let these guys in because they're a decently strong nation with a pretty strong economy at the minute. So yeah, and speaking of these guys, they may invade the Vietnamese country soon, but they're just saying maybe not at the minute, but possibly in the future. They definitely want to, and they definitely have plans to, but at the same time, they're waiting for the right moment to do it. They don't want to do it right now because the Vietnamese country is strong, and they're also getting supplied by Japan, but possibly in the future there may be a good moment to do it. I'm not hinting at anything, I'm just saying. Anyway, we see Neo-Persia kind of go on a bit of a chill at the minute. There's no more countries that they can really invade that would make the borders look nice. I don't want them to invade this country because that would kind of give them it would make the borders look stupid. Like, they'd have this, and it would look like Caspia is like trying to punch inside of them, and I just don't like how that looks. So instead, I'm gonna let these guys live. I'm gonna spare them, and Neo-Persia's gonna be taking a chill for the minute at least, and maybe in the future they'll do something, but for the second, no. Anyway, over here we have the Line team, weirdly enough, going on a bit of a conquest. That's going to be them invading the Corsican country. Now, Corsica hasn't existed for very long, but they're going to be invaded by the Lime team, just simply because they are a weak country. And there's really no reason for them to do this, but they're going to do it. So, yeah. Sadly enough, of course, because the Lime team is a much stronger nation, and they're able to do this. And you may say, how are they allowed to do this when this is their old land that they're taking back, even though they lost it in World War One? But there isn't really a treaty for World War One. Like with the Dark Red Union, that thing's not allowed to exist because it was banned from ever existing. They don't want it to come back, because if it did come back, it would be very, very strong. The Lime team invading Corsica, yeah, that's not really a big deal, but that's fine at least. So they're gonna let this slide, but they say, hey, you lost the war. Part of the deal was you're not allowed to take back, like, your territories. We're gonna let this one slide, but if you invade, like, say, this country here, or even Sicily, which you definitely lose to, but if you invade anyone else, we're gonna come after you. Which is really just this country that, like, they're able to invade, and other than that, that would not work. Because they don't border anyone else, they only border Germany, Sicily, and this country here, so all the weak targets are basically gone, unless they wanted to, like, attack the Magenta country over here for some reason, but I doubt they ever do that. Speaking of these guys, yeah, they're not really doing anything, and they're kind of like, I don't know what's really going on. They're actually going to decide to join the Circle Alliance. And this is because, as I said in the past, they are quite heavily influenced by the Red Team, and the Red Team is a part of the said alliance, so they would probably want to join the Red Team to be with their friend. And I might get rid of the Octagon Alliance and replace it with another shape. Now, this is not necessarily getting rid of it, I'm just going to make it another shape because of the fact that it's very similar to the Circle Alliance. So instead, I know this isn't what it was in Aegis' Vixer, but we're going to have the Parallelogram Alliance be born in the real, or be put into this world, and they're going to have the same members as the Octagon Alliance. They are the Octagon Alliance, but just going to make them parallelograms now because it looks better. Anyway, over here we're going to see an old country rebel from the French and Dutch teams. And this is quite weird. This is going to be, if you remember back in the early days of the series, we had like a green French country, and they're going to rebel. They do have their own culture and identity, and they're going to rebel from both these countries, and they are being funded by the Triangle Alliance. This is kind of a way to get back on the French and the Dutch for sabotaging the British Union earlier. So they're gonna be like, we're gonna fund this country now, and yeah, have a good time fighting them. And these guys aren't specifically strong, with a lot of support coming in from the British Union, obviously being shipped through the English Channel to them. It's gonna go a lot better for them than it usually would if they just tried to break away originally. And they're gonna reach over and try and grab a few of these major cities, and they're gonna kind of get over to this peninsula area over here. Their final goal is probably to grab this city. This is a very viable one. They realise that the French and the Dutch are very nationalistic citizens, and they're gonna be able to. They're gonna actually fight back against these guys. Now that's only in the occupied territories, because this area does want to be its own country. It's kind of like, I don't know. Think of like some things that happen in Europe in real life. Think of like, parts of Italy might want to break away. Like, I know Venice wants to break away, possibly. Like, southern Italy, Sicily, or Sardinia might want to break away. Not really in Italy, but they're not going to be able to, but they want to. Like, they want independence. It's similar with these guys, but a little bit different. Anyway, they're not going to really stand much of a chance against the Dutch and the French, even with funding foreignly. But they're going to lose quite a bit of land. And the French are going to fully push back over here. And this is going to go a lot worse than people thought it would originally go for these guys. So we do end up seeing the French pushing back over here in this region, and the Dutch are going to take over the rest of the Calais country. And now it's going to be a peace deal. And similarly enough, the borders are just reverted back to what they originally were. And the rebellion does fail, which does kind of really anger the German country. But what are they going to do? And they're going to do absolutely nothing. At the end of the day, even if they did want to invade the Circle Alliance, it'd be a very hard war to fight. So they're not going to do that for now. Anyway, actually coming to Neo-Persia for the final event of today's video, this is going to be an interesting thing happening here. Because Neo-Persia is going to be forming their own economical alliance. This is going to be the Arrow Economic Alliance. There's not really many shapes they can use left. But the countries that are going to be joining this is obviously going to be their puppet state. We actually have this Caspian country over here joining this. Because, why not? They are kind of forced to. They did have a war with the Neo-Persia a few episodes back. Neo-Persia won that easily. Not easily, I mean, it's quite hard to fight. But Neo-Persia did end up winning it, and part of the treaty was they have to kind of do whatever Neo-Persia wants to do. And join the Economic Alliance they will. We also have this yellow and brown country over here joining. That's because these two are kind of lacking on the economical side, and they're going to have to use a little bit of help from Neo-Persia, a pretty strong economical country. And then weirdly enough, we have Ukraine join this alliance, and this is just for economical, but they want to improve their economy. I am stumbling on my words, but Ukraine really wants to improve their economy for what they may want to do in the future, so they're going to join this economical alliance to hopefully better their economy with Neo-Persia. Obviously, like I said, a pretty strong economical country. But anyway, that is going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys have enjoyed. In the next episode, we're going to be seeing the start of something very important to the series, and that is one because this era, I'm going to end it in the next episode, obviously, because I don't have many other ideas for it. I have tons of ideas for the next era, like it's going to be a jam-packed era, it's going to be loads of stuff happening, but I just feel like, because we're in the colonial era at the moment, there's like not many countries left at the minute. Everything's been colonised, and there's only a few countries left in the world, then predominantly over here in Central Asia, and there's like a few in Europe as well. But look, all of Africa has been carved up, Arabia's been carved up, India. So there will be a major event in the next episode which will change that a lot, and will maybe last a few more episodes than just one. But anyway, we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.